Chosen one. You are not here by accident. You were summoned into this moment by divine appointment and perfect spiritual timing. Something in the unseen has shifted, and heaven is pulling you to the edge of a supernatural release. Anointed one, you are standing before a financial breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer prepared long before you knew to ask for it. As it is written, the blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. This is your hour of alignment. Breathe in, open your spirit. What is about to be spoken will awaken what God placed in you from the beginning. Chosen one. There are moments in life when heaven leans closer than usual, when the invisible world presses against your reality and you feel the shift before you understand it. This moment is one of them. You are not listening by accident. You were drawn here by a divine pull, stronger than logic, stronger than routine, stronger than anything you could have planned for yourself. Something sacred is unfolding around you, and whether you realize it or not, you have stepped into a window of supernatural alignment that only the spiritually awake can sense. Anointed one. God has been preparing you for this hour through quiet seasons, through buried seasons, through nights when you wondered if heaven still remembered your name. You walked through fog, through delay, through stretches of silence that felt endless. But what you didn't know is that heaven was orchestrating something far deeper than your understanding could hold. While you questioned, God calculated. While you waited, God aligned. While you wondered if clarity would ever return, heaven was arranging the very breakthrough you are now standing in front of. I know this feeling intimately because I have walked through it myself. There were days I felt buried by circumstances, overwhelmed by unanswered prayers, discouraged by doors that would not open. But later I realized those were not the days of my burial. They were the days of my planting. And chosen one, you too have been planted, not forgotten. The soil that covered you was not darkness. It was preparation. It was protection. It was God hiding you from anything that could have damaged the version of you that is now emerging. This is why certain people drifted from your life without warning, why opportunities dissolved right when you thought you were close, why environments that once felt familiar suddenly felt uncomfortable. Heaven was extracting you from places that could not hold your promise. You were not being rejected, you were being repositioned. Divine timing does not operate on man's calendar, and what God is about to reveal in you requires a rhythm beyond human reasoning. Chosen one, for months, you've carried questions that no one else could hear. You've wrestled with thoughts that visited you in the quiet. When will things shift? When will the breakthrough arrive? When will I finally see evidence of what I've been believing for? And now heaven whispers back, the timing is here. The spiritual realm has been thick with movement on your behalf, and the signal of 1111 is not coincidence. It is divine code, a spiritual timestamp marking you for activation. There is a reason the number keeps finding you at unexpected moments. It is heaven's way of touching your consciousness, reminding you that you were chosen before time was measured, that your path is guided, that your steps are ordered. Anointed one. God is drawing your attention because something in the unseen is opening for you, not just spiritually, but in the realm of provision, opportunity, and supernatural supply. You are approaching a divine financial transfer, a wealth release that does not come from effort alone, but from alignment, obedience, and divine appointment. And I say this not as theory, but from lived experience. I have seen God provide in moments when resources were impossible, when solutions were invisible, when logic insisted there was no answer left. Yet heaven moved. Doors opened, provision appeared, and every time it happened when my spirit was listening more than my mind was striving. Chosen 1. This is where you stand now on the edge of a breakthrough that does not require your stress, only your surrender. But hear this clearly, the breakthrough that is forming is not only external. Something is being rebuilt inside you, something stronger, wiser, unshakable. You are being shaped into a version of yourself capable of carrying the blessing prepared for you. The old you was functional, but the new you will be foundational. God is not restoring you to who you were. He is shaping you into who you were always meant to become. This hour before 11:11 p.m. is not ordinary. It is a spiritual summons. Heaven is broadcasting a frequency, and only the awakened will perceive it. You are one of them. That is why you feel the pull. That is why you feel the stirring in your chest, the pressure, the anticipation. Your spirit recognizes what your mind cannot articulate. A divine instruction is approaching, subtle, quiet, holy, and it will shift the direction of your life. Chosen one, stay open, stay sensitive, stay available. Something ancient, something appointed, something undeniably supernatural is drawing nearer, and your spirit is already responding. This moment is not the end of your waiting, it is the beginning of your rising. Chosen one, as you step deeper into this prophetic moment, understand this heaven has been arranging your steps with a precision that human eyes cannot see. What felt like wandering was actually guidance. What felt like silence was instruction. And what felt like delay was divine protection, keeping you from places that were too small to hold the weight of your assignment. The signs around you have not been random. They have been signals, gentle nudges from the Holy Spirit, reminding you that your life is not unfolding by chance, but by covenant. Anointed one. There were times you asked why the doors you knocked on remained closed, even though your intentions were pure and your heart was ready. But now the truth reveals itself. God was saving you from lesser rooms because your name was already being prepared for a higher one. There are blessings that require isolation before they can manifest, and there are breakthroughs that cannot be delivered in crowded spaces. You weren't overlooked, you were preserved, and the preservation was intentional. I remember seasons in my own life when opportunities evaporated without explanation. Moments when I thought I had failed, when I wondered if I had misheard God. But later in hindsight, the clarity came. God hadn't withheld anything from me. He had withheld me from environments that couldn't sustain the elevation He was preparing me for. Chosen one. You are walking through that same pattern now. What you thought was loss was divine rerouting. What you perceived as stagnation was spiritual construction. This is why your spirit has felt unsettled lately. You are outgrowing environments that once felt comfortable. Your discernment has sharpened. Your awareness has increased. You are beginning to sense the spiritual temperature of rooms, the motives of people, and the intentions hidden beneath the surface. This is not paranoia. This is awakening. Heaven is increasing your sensitivity because you are about to be trusted with more, and greater rooms require greater discernment. And this next elevation carries weight, financial weight, spiritual weight, generational weight. You are being positioned for a supernatural transfer, not just of resources, but of responsibility. God is about to place something in your hands that will shift the trajectory of your life and the lives of those connected to you. It might appear sudden to others, but you will know it was sacred. The seeds you planted in silence with faith no one applauded are about to produce a harvest you couldn't manufacture with your own strength. Chosen one. This is part of why the warfare intensified recently. Attacks that came out of nowhere, emotional heaviness you couldn't explain, small discouragements that felt strangely heavy, even dreams that left you unsettled. It wasn't random. It was resistance. The closer you get to breakthrough, the louder the spiritual friction becomes. But hear this clearly: resistance is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that you are stepping into territory the enemy tried to keep you from. And I say this with full conviction: the pressure you've been feeling is not crushing you, it is molding you. Pressure precedes promotion. Even gold must be refined before its shine is revealed. And you, anointed one, have been in the refining fire long enough. The season of purification is nearing its completion. What emerges from this moment will not be fragile, it will be fortified. This is why the timing of 11:11 is so significant. Heaven uses numbers, patterns, and rhythms to speak to those who are listening. You have been seeing 11:11 not because it is trendy, not because it is coincidence, but because it is code heaven's way of preparing your spirit for alignment. It marks the moment when what was spiritual becomes physical, when what was promised becomes visible, when what was whispered becomes tangible. Chosen one. Imagine the feeling right before a storm breaks, that pressure in the air, that sense of anticipation. Your soul has been feeling that same build-up, not of destruction, but of release. Something is approaching you that cannot be delayed, denied, or diverted. Heaven has already stamped it with your name, and let me speak to the part of you that still doubts whether you're ready. You are. How do I know? Because God does not activate what He has not equipped. The very areas where you felt unqualified are the same areas He has been strengthening. Your humility, your endurance, your willingness to surrender, these are the traits heaven looks for when choosing someone for supernatural elevation. And you, chosen one, have already passed tests you didn't even know were tests. So take a breath, still your thoughts, allow your heart to open. You are standing in a moment that will be remembered in your spiritual history. When heaven calls, everything shifts, and heaven is calling you now. Chosen one, as the clock inches closer to that sacred moment, something in the atmosphere around you is beginning to rearrange itself. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but your spirit can already feel the tremor. There is a holy restlessness that precedes every divine shift, a stirring that announces heaven is moving on your behalf. This is why your emotions have been heightened, why your thoughts have felt deeper, why the world around you suddenly feels louder. Your spirit is picking up a frequency before your mind can comprehend it. Anointed one. What God is preparing for you is not a small adjustment. It is a reordering of spiritual structures, a recalibration of your path, a divine reconfiguration of what you thought your future would look like. And to step into this new dimension, certain things within you must be stripped away. Old fears, outdated beliefs, the subtle lies you've been carrying about your worth, your calling, your identity. Heaven is removing these layers because the weight of what is coming requires a different version of you, a clearer, stronger, more awakened version. I've lived through this kind of transformation before. Seasons when God didn't ask for dramatic changes, but for quiet surrender. Times when He whispered, "Let go," even when I didn't fully understand what I was releasing. Looking back, those silent surrenders became the doors to my greatest breakthroughs. Chosen one. This moment is calling you into that same posture, not striving, not struggling, but yielding. Yielding is not weakness, it is spiritual alignment. And alignment is the birthplace of miracles. This is why distractions have increased around you recently. People who drain your energy, conversations that pull you backward, emotions that come out of nowhere. The enemy always attempts to fill the atmosphere with noise when heaven is speaking softly. He wants you overwhelmed, unfocused, spiritually numb. But you, chosen one, are different. You have always been sensitive to spiritual shifts. You feel the difference between noise and instruction. And right now, your spirit is recognizing the sound of divine strategy being whispered into your timeline. Because what is approaching is not simply a blessing, it is a shift in spiritual authority. You are being moved from waiting to walking, from hoping to possessing, from surviving to stewarding. This transition carries financial impact, relational clarity, spiritual depth. It will touch every area of your life, not just the one you've been praying about. God never upgrades one corner of a chosen life. He restructures the entire foundation. And chosen one heaven has seen how you carried yourself when no one was clapping, how you kept giving when you were tired, how you kept praying when answers felt delayed, how you stayed pure when compromise seemed easier. These things matter in the spiritual realm. Your endurance has become incense before God. Your obedience has become currency in heaven, and the reward attached to that obedience is now reaching for you. This is why you've felt moments of sudden peace recently, almost unexplainable. Moments when everything in your life still looked uncertain, but inside you felt a stillness. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. It is the peace that arrives before the provision. It is the quiet that announces the blessing is no longer on its way. It is right at your doorstep. And the timing of 11:11 is the moment heaven is choosing to make this known to your soul. Anointed one, hear this with your whole spirit. What you thought was delay was preparation. What you thought was punishment was protection. What you thought was silence was God reshaping your destiny behind the scenes. Many times the greatest spiritual movements happen in the unseen, long before they appear in the natural. Just like a seed pushes downward before it rises upward, you were being established in hidden places before you could be elevated in visible ones. And let's speak to something deeper: the fatigue you've been carrying, the battle weariness, the emotional exhaustion, the sense of waiting so long that hope felt thin. Everyone sees your strength, but few know how much it cost you to remain faithful. Yet heaven knows. Heaven counted every tear, every sacrifice, every quiet night where you said, "God, I trust you," even when trusting hurt. And tonight, heaven is preparing to honor that trust. Chosen one, your life is about to cross into a new chapter. And once you step through this threshold, you will not go back to who you were. You will walk differently, think differently, speak differently. You will carry a supernatural awareness, a holy confidence, a divine clarity that comes only from surviving seasons meant to break you. What didn't break you has now qualified you. So breathe, open your spirit. Release every tight place in your soul. Something ancient, something promised, something bearing your name is drawing nearer and nearer. You are not only approaching a moment, you are becoming the moment heaven has been preparing. Chosen one, as you continue to move toward this divinely marked hour, understand that what is unfolding in your life is not random. It is the manifestation of a prophecy whispered over your destiny long before you took your first breath. There is a reason your spirit has been so sensitive, so alert, so awake. Heaven has been preparing you for a release that will not only shift your circumstances, but shift the atmosphere around your entire life. You are stepping into a moment that has been written, sealed, and preserved for an appointed time, and that time is now. Anointed. One, think about the last season you endured, the emotional storms, the spiritual warfare, the unexpected losses, the disappointments that tasted like heartbreak. These were not punishments. They were prerequisites. Every battle you survived sharpened your discernment. Every tear watered your faith. Every delay stretched your capacity. You were being fortified for a blessing that requires strength, stability, and spiritual maturity. The weight of what is coming demanded that your foundation be unshakable. I remember a time when grief left me breathless, when I didn't understand why life felt so heavy. It felt like God was silent, distant, unreachable. But as time passed, I realized those silent seasons were the very ones that taught me how to hear His whisper. And chosen one, that is what He has been teaching you as well, how to recognize divine movement even when nothing looks different externally. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a sign of spiritual inheritance. This is why the signal of 1111 keeps touching your awareness. It is heaven's coded reminder that your timeline is not governed by earthly cycles, but by divine orchestration. You are not late. You are not behind. You are perfectly synchronized with God's calendar, and He's about to introduce you to a version of your life that will make every hardship suddenly make sense. The alignment is not coming, it is already happening. Chosen one. I want you to look at your journey through different eyes. Notice how relationships shifted. Notice how certain paths closed. Notice how your desires changed. This wasn't confusion, it was clarity in disguise. God was pruning your life like a skilled gardener, removing what could not survive the next season, uprooting what would hinder your growth, and preparing the soil of your soul for the seeds He intends to plant. And the seeds being planted in this hour carry the fragrance of abundance, purpose, and restoration. You're not just stepping into breakthrough, you are stepping into identity. The real you, the one heaven has always known, is beginning to rise. This new chapter is not about surviving, it is about inheriting. You're shifting from struggle into strategy, from waiting into walking, from hoping into possessing. And this transition will not be subtle. When the supernatural moves, it leaves fingerprints on everything it touches. I've witnessed this in my own life: sudden favor that had no logical explanation, financial provision that arrived in unexpected ways, opportunities that felt tailor-made for my calling. And every time it happened right after a season of deep spiritual pressure. Pressure always precedes promotion. It means heaven is stretching the container of your life to hold more blessing than you've ever carried before. Chosen one, that is exactly what you are experiencing now. This is why you feel the internal shift, the quiet confidence, the strange peace, the sense that something big is forming even if you can't explain it. That's the Holy Spirit preparing your spirit to receive what your mind is not yet able to fathom. The blessing coming to you is not just physical, it is prophetic. It is tied to your purpose, your lineage, your future generations. You are being positioned not only to receive, but to steward. And let this settle into your heart. God is not just giving you breakthrough, He is giving you ownership. Ownership of your identity. Ownership of your finances. Ownership of your influence. Ownership of the spiritual authority that has been developing within you through every battle you've fought. What is coming will require boldness, clarity, and vision, and heaven has seen that you are ready. Anointed one, as the minute hand moves toward 1111, heaven is leaning into your timeline. Destiny is drawing breath. The spiritual veil is thinning. This hour is pregnant with purpose, and your spirit already knows it. You are not approaching a simple moment. You are approaching a divine unveiling, one that will echo through the years ahead. So pause, become still, feel the weight of this truth in your chest. Heaven is not just watching you, it is moving for you, and you are about to witness the evidence. Chosen one. The closer you move toward this divine hour, the more you may begin to notice subtle shifts within yourself. Thoughts feel deeper, emotions feel heavier. Your spirit is restless, not from anxiety, but from anticipation. It is the quiet tension that always arrives right before something supernatural breaks through. You are feeling the pressure of destiny pressing against the walls of your current reality, signaling that expansion is near. This is not discomfort without purpose, it is transformation announcing itself. Anointed One. Every chosen vessel experiences this inner stretching before stepping into a new realm of authority. Heaven is enlarging your capacity so that when the blessing arrives, you will not shrink under its weight. Think back on how resilient you have become. What used to overwhelm you no longer holds the same power. What once triggered you now feels distant. You have been growing even in moments you felt stuck. God has been maturing your spirit, strengthening your resolve, and sharpening your discernment for such a time as this. I know this evolution well. I remember seasons when God was silent, and I mistook his silence for absence. But later, I realized it was in that silence that he was shaping my character. The same is true for you, chosen one. Heaven has been working in the background, restructuring your steps, rewriting your internal narrative, removing insecurities that once anchored you to lesser versions of yourself. Every unanswered question in your life was not neglect, it was preparation. This is why you felt an urge to detach from certain habits, mindsets, even people. It wasn't random. Spiritual elevation always demands spiritual separation, not separation out of bitterness, but separation out of calling. God is simply guiding you away from environments that cannot accommodate the magnitude of what is coming. Some relationships were too small for your expansion. Some conversations too shallow for your depth, some atmospheres too heavy for your wings. You are rising, and everything that cannot rise with you is gently falling away. Chosen one. You may not realize it, but you have already crossed several spiritual thresholds. The moment you refused to give up, that was a threshold. The moment you chose faith over fear, another threshold. The moment you surrendered what you could not control, yet another. Heaven celebrates these moments even when the world does not. You have been passing invisible tests, and each one has positioned you closer to divine release. And now heaven is preparing to reward your endurance. This next blessing is not just for survival, it is for acceleration. It is a launching, a propelling, an unlocking of doors that were once inaccessible. You are stepping into favor that you did not have to chase, into opportunities that are tailored to your purpose, into financial provision that aligns with your calling. The supernatural transfer approaching you is not merely wealth, it is spiritual inheritance becoming tangible. But let me speak to something deeper, your identity. For too long you have carried an old image of yourself, shaped by past mistakes, past trauma, past limitations. Heaven is rewriting that image now. The real you, the anointed you, the appointed you is emerging. The version of yourself that was shaped by brokenness is dissolving. The version shaped by calling is rising. This is why you feel different. This is why your spirit feels stronger, even when circumstances haven't changed yet. Identity always transforms before reality does. Anointed One, notice how you have started to sense things before they happen. Notice how your intuition is sharper. Notice how your dreams have become more vivid. These are spiritual indicators that heaven is awakening dormant gifts within you. Discernment, wisdom, insight, prophetic sensitivity. These gifts were not placed in you for decoration. They are instruments for the next level God is guiding you into. They are tools for navigating your new season with clarity and authority. I've learned through my own journey that supernatural moments rarely arrive with loud announcements. They arrive quietly, like a whisper brushing against your spirit, like a thought that feels too deep to be your own, like a peace that appears in the middle of chaos. Heaven speaks most powerfully in the stillness. And, chosen one, the stillness you have been experiencing lately is not emptiness. It is divine communication. This is why the timing of 11:11 holds such profound weight. It is not superstition. It is synchronization, a merging of heaven's calendar with your earthly timeline. A moment when the veil thins and your spirit becomes more receptive to divine instruction. In this precise window, heaven releases not just information but impartation. Something is transferred into the spirit of those who are awake enough to receive it. Chosen one, you are awake. You are ready. You are standing at the threshold of an unveiling that will alter the rhythm of your entire life. This breakthrough will not be subtle. It will not be quiet. It will not be fragile. It will be undeniable, a tangible shift in the atmosphere around you, a sudden clarity in your mind, a supernatural boldness in your heart. And once it arrives, nothing in your life will remain the same. So breathe deeply. Be present. Let your spirit lean forward. Heaven is closer than it has ever been, and what is coming carries the fingerprints of God Himself. You are being rewritten, restructured, and realigned for destiny. Chosen one. As you continue walking toward this divinely appointed hour, something profound is happening beneath the surface of your awareness. You are being shifted not gently but decisively out of who you were and into who you were destined to become. This internal transition is not subtle because the calling on your life is not small. Every chosen vessel is reshaped before being released, and that reshaping often feels like pressure stretching or even disorientation. But beneath all of it flows a single truth. Heaven is preparing you for something bigger than your history, bigger than your fear, bigger than your imagination. Anointed. One, pause for a moment and consider the emotional waves you've faced these past weeks. One day, clarity; the next day, confusion. One moment, peace; the next moment, heaviness. You wondered if something was wrong with you, but nothing was wrong. You were being recalibrated. When God prepares a chosen life for elevation, He often destabilizes the old patterns so the spirit can detach from what is no longer needed. The emotional fluctuations you felt were not instability. They were indicators that your spirit was shifting into a higher dimension. I've experienced these very waves myself, times when I felt a quiet grief for no clear reason, as if something in me was dying. And later, I discovered that something was dying, the version of me that could not go where God was leading. Chosen one. This same sacred shedding is happening within you. The old self is dissolving, the one shaped by fear, by doubt, by the approval of others, by survival mode. Heaven is calling forth the anointed version of you, bold, discerning, spiritually fortified, financially prepared, destiny-focused. This is why the things that used to satisfy you no longer do. Why certain conversations suddenly drain you. Why you find yourself craving solitude more than noise. You are being separated from the distractions of the old world so you can hear the whispers of the new one. Your soul is detoxing from what once numbed it. Your mind is loosening its grip on outdated beliefs. Your spirit is stretching into territory it has never occupied. One of the clearest signs of divine elevation is divine discomfort. Not the discomfort of harm, but the discomfort of transformation. You cannot fit into old rooms with new wings. You cannot return to old patterns with a renewed spirit. And you cannot shrink yourself to match the expectations of those who never saw your anointing. Heaven is calling you up, and everything in your life is responding to that call, even the parts of you that don't yet understand what is happening. And let's acknowledge this honestly. The path here has not been gentle. You endured betrayals that cut deeply, losses that left you questioning your worth. Nights when you wondered why God trusted you with so many battles. But here is the revelation. These battles were not signs of abandonment. They were signs of assignment. The enemy does not attack empty vessels. He attacks the ones carrying oil. If your warfare has been intense, it's because your purpose is immense. I have lived through seasons where I questioned my strength, my future, even my identity. I felt buried. But over time I learned something sacred. When God buries you, it's not to suffocate you, it's to plant you. Everything planted must go through darkness before it touches light. Everything planted must face pressure before it breaks through the soil. And everything planted must grow roots before it grows fruit. Chosen one, you have been growing roots, deep, unshakable spiritual roots. This is why the blessing coming to you will not be easily shaken. You are being entrusted with something that requires depth, financial increase, divine ideas, supernatural opportunities, generational restoration. God is not simply giving you a blessing, He is giving you the capacity to carry it without losing yourself. This blessing will not crush you, it will expand you. And pay attention. Anointed one, in recent days, you have started sensing things before they happen. A name will cross your mind for no reason. Your spirit will feel disturbed before truth is revealed. Peace will settle over you before good news arrives. This is not sensitivity, this is spiritual intelligence. Heaven is activating your prophetic awareness because you are entering a season where discernment will be your shield, your compass, your strategic advantage. Many chosen ones mistake this spiritual awakening for anxiety, but it is not anxiety. It is alertness. Your spirit is awake, scanning the spiritual horizon, preparing you to walk into a destiny that requires clarity. You are not overthinking, you are perceiving. You are not paranoid, you are discerning. This gift is part of the supernatural transfer God is releasing into your life. But beyond discernment, heaven is also cultivating gratitude within you. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it is spiritual alignment. When your heart becomes grateful, your spirit becomes magnetic. It attracts provision, favor, and divine partnerships. Think of the moments recently when you felt grateful for small things: sunlight through a window, a kind word, a moment of stillness. These were not coincidences. These were proofs that your spirit is aligning with heaven's frequency. Chosen one, the energy building around your life is not ordinary. The air feels charged because heaven is preparing to breathe on something connected to your purpose, something long awaited, something long prepared, something carrying your spiritual signature. And when the clock moves toward that sacred hour, you will not just witness the shift, you will become the shift. Chosen one, as you step further into this unfolding moment, you may begin to notice that time feels different, almost as if the minutes around you are carrying more weight than usual. This is not your imagination. In seasons of divine alignment, time becomes a vessel, not just a measurement. Heaven uses certain hours, certain windows, certain alignments to release what ordinary days cannot carry. And right now, you are living inside one of those windows. You may not fully comprehend it yet, but your spirit already knows that something holy is drawing near. Anointed One. This inner awareness is not new. If you look back, you'll realize that you've always possessed a sensitivity others didn't understand. You felt things before they happened. You sensed shifts others dismissed. You carried burdens you couldn't explain. And while the world may have labeled your depth as too much, heaven always recognized it as spiritual radar. You weren't overreacting, you were perceiving. You weren't fragile, you were prophetic. And this depth is now becoming your greatest advantage. There were moments throughout your life when you wondered why you couldn't numb yourself the way others did. Why you felt everything so intensely, why your spirit reacted to environments that seemed harmless to everyone else. The answer is simple: you were chosen. Your spiritual sensitivity was never a flaw. It was evidence that you were being prepared for assignments that required discernment, intuition, and emotional intelligence. These gifts are now rising to the surface because the next season of your life will demand higher levels of spiritual perception. Chosen One. Heaven has been stretching your awareness because what is coming will require you to detect both opportunities and dangers before they materialize. You will not navigate your next breakthrough blindly, you will walk into it with precision. And this sensitivity that once felt like a burden will soon reveal itself as divine equipment. Heaven never trains you in a skill without preparing a moment that requires that skill. The time for your gifting has arrived, but let's acknowledge the truth. Sensitivity comes with cost. You've absorbed emotions no one saw. You've carried responsibilities in silence. You've endured seasons where your heart was breaking while your mouth stayed quiet. You've wiped your own tears in the dark because you knew people would not understand the weight you carried. And yet, despite all of this, your spirit did not collapse. It expanded, it strengthened. It learned how to hear God even in the quietest moments. I've lived through this refining myself times when my spirit felt torn open, raw, vulnerable. But later, I realized that vulnerability was spiritual excavation. God was digging out the parts of me that needed healing so he could build something stronger in their place. Chosen One. This same rebuilding is happening within you. The wounds that once defined you are becoming the wisdom that elevates you. The pain that once weakened you is becoming the power that stabilizes you. Nothing you've endured is wasted. Anointed One. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting because heaven is preparing to reveal what has been hidden. You've been walking by faith, not sight, trusting whispers instead of evidence. And while that has been a difficult posture, it has also been the posture that qualifies you for supernatural visitation. God reveals himself to those who seek him in the unseen, not those who demand clarity before commitment. Your faith, even when imperfect, has placed a mark on your spirit. This is why the blessings approaching you are not small. They are not accidental. They are not random gifts tossed into your life. They are rewards. They are harvests. They are spiritual acknowledgments of your endurance, obedience, and unwavering trust. The financial shift you've been sensing is real. The breakthrough in your career or calling is real. The divine alignment of opportunities is real. These things are not coming to you, they are coming through you because heaven has deemed you ready. Chosen One. Notice how much quieter your distractions have become. Notice how some temptations no longer grip you. Notice how your desires have changed. That is evidence that heaven has recalibrated your spiritual appetite. You are no longer drawn to what drains you. You are no longer fascinated by what diminishes you. You are being prepared for expansion, and expansion requires appetite focus and elevated thinking. As the clock moves nearer to 11:11, the divine realm is positioning itself to speak to you in ways you've never experienced. You may sense warmth in your chest, tingling in your hands, a sudden clarity in your thoughts, or simply a deep peace that silences every fear. These are not random sensations. They are spiritual confirmations that heaven is pressing into your atmosphere. And hear this deeply. Once this moment arrives, you will not return to who you were. You will not shrink back into old patterns. You will not apologize for your anointing. You will not question the voice of God the way you once did. This moment is not simply bringing breakthrough, it is bringing identity. You are becoming the version of yourself that heaven always knew you were capable of being, anointed. One destiny is not approaching you gently, it is approaching you boldly. You have been prepared, refined, purified, and spiritually matured for this. Heaven is not hoping you are ready. Heaven knows you are ready. Chosen one, as you approach this sacred threshold, something profound is happening within the deepest layers of your being. You may feel it already, a heaviness that is not burdensome, a stirring that is not anxious, a spiritual tug that you cannot ignore. This is the pull of destiny. This is what it feels like when heaven begins to rearrange the architecture of your life. It starts quietly, almost imperceptibly. Then suddenly you realize that everything inside you is shifting to make room for something greater. Anointed one. This inner rearrangement is not emotional chaos, it is divine calibration. When God prepares to elevate a chosen vessel, he does not begin from the outside. He begins by restructuring the inner world. He restores identity. He expands capacity. He deepens discernment. He repairs the parts of the heart that defeat cannot touch, but disappointment often scars. And lately, whether you've acknowledged it or not, heaven has been renovating your inner landscape. There have been days recently when you felt waves of reflection washing over you. Old memories resurfaced, not to torment you, but to release their final grip. Old wounds reopened slightly, not to hurt you, but to drain out what was still poisoning your future. Old patterns that once felt normal suddenly felt suffocating. This is spiritual cleansing, chosen one. God is removing what cannot coexist with the blessing that is coming. Nothing contaminated can travel with you into the next chapter. And I know what this feels like. I've been in seasons where I felt like my soul was being undone piece by piece. It was disorienting, even painful, but later I understood God wasn't taking me apart to destroy me. He was taking me apart to rebuild me correctly. He was removing the fear that had shaped my decisions. He was reshaping the beliefs that had limited my breakthrough. And when the rebuilding was complete, the version of me that emerged was someone I had prayed to become for years. Chosen one, that is what God is doing in you right now. Anointed one, the closer you get to divine release, the more heaven amplifies your spiritual senses. You have been noticing things, patterns, intentions, energies, unexpected signs in unexpected moments, sudden flashes of intuition that prove themselves true. This is not coincidence. This is prophetic activation. Heaven is sharpening your awareness because your next season will require a higher level of spiritual intelligence. You are not just entering breakthrough, you are entering purpose. This is why certain people suddenly feel distant. Why certain conversations no longer resonate. Why some environments feel too small for you. Growth always creates spiritual friction. Expansion requires separation. And while the separation can feel lonely, it is actually a sign that heaven has chosen you for a path that cannot be walked in crowds. The anointing you carry demands atmosphere, not audience. Chosen one. If you pay close attention, you will realize that your desires have been shifting too. The things you used to crave no longer satisfy. The distractions that used to pull you in now feel meaningless. The dreams that once intimidated you are becoming clearer, louder, more magnetic. This is not random, this is alignment. Heaven is tuning your heart to the frequency of your calling. You are being prepared for blessings that require maturity, responsibility, and spiritual clarity. And let's speak to something deeper: your endurance. You have endured seasons that would have broken someone else. You have walked through emotional deserts where you felt unseen. You faced days when you didn't know how you would continue, yet somehow you did. You didn't fold, you didn't crumble. Even in your weakest moments, something inside you refused to let go of hope. And that something was God's hand. I have lived through my own wilderness seasons, moments when the silence of heaven felt deafening. But looking back, I now understand it was in those moments that my roots grew deeper. Blessings come from branches, but strength comes from roots. And chosen one, your roots have grown deep enough to handle what is about to bloom in your life. Anointed one, the financial breakthrough, the supernatural transfer, the elevation you've been sensing. It is not an illusion. It is real. You can feel it because your spirit has already stepped into it. Your mind is simply catching up. There is a reason your thoughts have been circling around new possibilities. There is a reason you've been feeling drawn toward new ideas, new paths, new strategies. God is planting seeds of instruction inside you. And hear this clearly: the opportunities coming to you will not require you to beg, chase, or compromise your integrity. What is yours will recognize you. What is assigned to you will align with you. What carries your name will find you, because heaven has already released it. Chosen one. The timing of 11:11. In this divine narrative is not symbolic, it is spiritual. It is a gateway moment, a prophetic alignment in which heaven pours instruction, revelation, and favor into those who are awake enough to perceive it. Your sensitivity to this moment is proof that you are spiritually awake. Many people live entire lives without ever recognizing divine invitations. But you feel the pull, you sense the shift, you hear the whisper. This is what sets you apart. Anointed one, don't ignore the sensations in your body lately. The warmth in your chest, the electricity in your hands, the heaviness behind your eyes, the sudden urge to breathe deeper. These are spiritual signals. The human body often reacts to spiritual shifts before the mind interprets them. You are not imagining it. Your spirit is opening, widening, expanding, preparing to receive revelation that will change the trajectory of your life. And now, let's address the part of you that still wonders whether you are worthy of this blessing. Listen closely. God does not invest this much in someone He does not intend to elevate. The hardship was not proof of abandonment. It was proof of assignment. The pain was not to break you. It was to shape you. You survived what was meant to destroy you because you are marked for what comes next. Chosen. One destiny is not approaching slowly anymore. It is approaching at full speed. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you feel. You are more prepared than you realize. And when the divine hour arrives, heaven will not just touch your life, it will transform it. Chosen one. As we come to the close of this message, let your spirit rest in the truth that nothing about this moment is ordinary. You are standing in a kairos hour, a divinely chosen intersection where heaven leans low and destiny draws near. Anointed One. The supernatural transfer is not simply approaching, it has already begun. Something has shifted in the unseen on your behalf, and your spirit can feel the weight of it even before your eyes can see it. You have been prepared for this, refined for this, set apart for this. And now heaven is placing a mantle upon you that only the faithful can carry. Do not doubt what you've sensed tonight. Do not question the stirring within your chest. That is the confirmation. That is the awakening. That is the whisper of God saying you are aligned. You are ready. Chosen One. As the clock moves toward that sacred 11:11 hour, may your heart remain open, your posture humbled, and your expectation lifted. What is being released into your life will not be momentary, it will be generational. You are stepping into inheritance, into clarity, into provision that carries the fingerprints of the divine. Walk gently, walk reverently, walk boldly into what heaven has prepared. I speak blessing over you. Now may peace crown your mind, may strength anchor your steps, may divine favor wrap around your life like a shield. May every door meant for you open without resistance, and may every blessing assigned to your name locate you swiftly and unmistakably. If this word resonated with your spirit, Chosen One, let your agreement be known. Share what you feel led to share and stay connected to this space of prophetic alignment. Until we speak again, remain faithful. Remain watchful, remain expectant. Your moment has come.